everyone. So we're back with another math lesson. Today we are still going to continue to learn about time, but today we are learning how to measure elapsed time or measure how much time has gone by. So if you were at the movie theater and you got to the movie theater at 1 o'clock and your movie ended at 2 o'clock, how much time has gone by since the movie started? So I'm going to, again, make myself smaller so you can focus on the middle of the screen, and I'm going to zoom you in, and let's get started. All right, so the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to read the solve and share problem to you. It says, Denise wants to see a movie. The movie started at 1:05 p.m. It ended at 2:35 p.m. How long did the movie last? Okay, so the first thing that I did was using the times from the questions. I just went ahead and labeled each of the clocks to make it a little bit easier for myself when I'm trying to read them. I also, if you can see right here, I made myself a little key showing that my big hand, the red one, is my minute hand, and that my blue one, the smaller one, is my hour hand, just so I can keep track of which one I'm moving and what I'm supposed to be looking at. All right, so I zoomed you in a little bit so that we can just focus on the clocks. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to start at this first clock, and it tells me that it's 1:05 p.m. Then I'm going to look at the next clock, and I see that my hour hand, it is in the middle, but it's closer to the 2, so I know that it's the hour is 2 o'clock. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to go like this. There we go. So that I know that this was 1 hour because I only jumped from 1 to 2. When you count from 1 to 2, it is just adding 1. Hope that makes sense. So right now I have 1 hour. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start typing so that I don't lose track. So I already know that 1 hour has passed. So I'm going to start with that. 1 hour, and because we need to find out how many minutes have passed. Okay, so now that we've done our hour hand, we saw that it just went from 1 to 2. We know that we only counted 1 jump because it is an hour. So we put down here that we have 1 hour, and now we're going to find the minutes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at my minute hand, or the red hand, and I'm going to see that it went from 1 to 7. So I'm going to take my red tool and I'm going to jump that many times. 1 to 2, 2 to 3, and I'm going to go all the way until I get to 7. There we go. Okay, so now that I have my thing mapped out, what I'm going to do is I'm going to remember that my minutes, each number equals 5. So because it's exactly on the 7, it's going to make it super easy for me. Okay, so now that we've mapped it out, what we have to do is count by 5s. So we're going to go 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. So now we know that 30 minutes have passed, so we can just add it to our sentence. So we saw that we had 1 hour and 30 minutes. So as we can see, our start time was 1:05 p.m. Our end time was 2:35 p.m. And we know that the movie lasted 1 hour and 30 minutes. Okay, so I hope that was easy to follow. I'm going to go to the next page, and I am going to do another example for you. Before I do the next example, I wanted to just show this page, and you can find these pages on your Pearson if you wanted to go back and look at it the example, or you can obviously watch this video as many times as you need to. But I'm just going to read the question. It says, Janie took part in a charity walk. The walk started at 7:10 a.m. It ended at 11:20 a.m. How long did the walk last? So, again, it tells us that elapsed time is the total amount of time that passes from the starting time to the ending time. So what we're going to do here, it shows our start time, which was 7:10, and it shows our end time, which was 11:20. Down here you can see the first step is find the starting time, which we already did. They counted the hours, which is what we also did in our last thing. So they went from 7 and they needed to go to 11. So they counted 1, 2, 3, 4 hours. And then they count the minutes. So they went from 2 to 4. So they counted just like we did by fives, 5, 10. So their walk lasted 4 hours and 10 minutes. So what I'm going to do now, I just wanted to explain that to you. So maybe if you needed to pause this at this point for the 3 steps, you can. Now I'm going to go to the next page and show you another example. The next example that we're going to do, it wants us to go from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. So it wants to know how much time is elapsed. So you can see here, the first clock, it's showing the hour hands on 11, the minute hand is on the 12, which gives us 11 o'clock. This hand, or this clock right here, sorry, shows us 5 p.m. It shows the hour hand on the 5, and the minute hand on the 12, which shows us 5 p.m. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to label the times underneath start and end so that we know and we can get a little bit more zoomed in. So I'll be right back. All right, so I went ahead and did that for you. So right here, I put that my starting time is 11 a.m. and my ending time is 5 p.m. Just like the last example, the first step that we're going to do is find our time, which we already did. Our second step is to count the hours. So I see that my hour hand here is at 11 and my hour hand here is at 5. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make my humps from 11 to 5 and I'm going to count. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So because that is my hour hand, I know now that I have gone 6 hours. So I'm going to go ahead and start writing that down below so that I do not forget. All right, so I went ahead and wrote that down for you. It says 6 hours and, because now we are going to go ahead and find our minutes. All right, so this one is a little bit different. I went ahead and wrote down 6 hours. Because my minute hand here did not move, we don't have to count how many minutes there were. There are only hours that have passed. So like we did here, we counted the 11 to the 5 was 6. So the amount of time passed here was just 6 hours. And again, this is because the minute hand did not move from the 12. So that's just a little bit of a different example. And I'm going to do one more example for you. So our last example is going to be example number 4. I like this example because it shows you the 3 different steps and it also has it organized for you over here on the side so that if you needed to pause this video to use it for your quick checks, you can. So let's read the question first. It says that the start time is 6:30 p.m., the end time is 9:50 p.m. So the first step was to find the time. So they did that here. So they wrote 6:30 on this clock right here. The next thing to do is to count the hours. So what they did is they moved the hour hand from the 6 to the 9. And now we are going to count how many it takes to get from 6 to 9. So they did 1, 2, 3. So we know that the hours from 6:30 to 9:30 is 3 hours. Our third step is to count the minutes. So what they did is they moved the minutes from 30 minutes to 50 minutes. If you see the red hand has moved from the 30 to the 50. So again, we are going to count this time by fives because it's our minutes. So we're going to go 5, 10, 15, 20. So we know that the minutes from 9:30 to 9:50 was 20 minutes. I'm just going to abbreviate so that it all fits. So we know the elapsed time is 3 hours, 20 bigger, 20 minutes. I know I said that was the last example, but I just wanted you to look at number 5 really quick. Number 5 is like our first example up top, number 3. You can easily do these ones. If they have zeros at the end and there's no minutes, all you have to do is just the hours. So if you see zeros in the minutes, you know that you don't have to worry about minutes. You're just worrying about hours. So we're not going to do this example, but I just wanted to point that out to you because you might see that in your quick check. All right, so again, I hope that was easy to follow. I'm trying my best with these videos. I know it's not like regular school and where we can be hands-on and stuff, but if you need any help, please let me know. We can set up a time or you can come to my math office hours. So I hope you guys have a great day and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.